You're tuned to Let's Talk. I'm your host, Stephanie Anthony, and I hope the weather is good where you are. However, the weather is for me right now, I say, yay, it's great. It's good to be alive and be able to experience whatever the weather is. We're going to talk a little bit today, a little bit more about gun violence. And let's look at this particular situation that has been in the news regarding a gun violence situation. Let's listen.
New development, elementary school shooting. A grand jury has indicted the mother of the 6-year-old boy who police say intentionally shot his teacher. 25-year-old Deja Taylor is charged with felony child neglect, along with a misdemeanor count of recklessly leaving a loaded firearm that endangers a child. Sarah Hammond joins us live tonight in Newport News with the details. And Sarah, what can you tell us more about this story?
Well, the boy's mother, Deja Taylor, is expected to turn herself in here at the Newport News City Jail later this week, according to her attorney. And the charges come after an investigation by the Newport News Police Department and the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office, who say the facts and the law support these charges against Taylor. And we know there is a lot of new information coming in on this case. So let's rewind back to January when this all started.
Subject with a gun at Rich Neck Elementary School acknowledged.
Frantic parents ran to the scene at Rich Neck Elementary School the afternoon of January 6th after police responded to a shooting. We later learned the shooter was a 6-year-old boy and the victim was 25-year-old Abby Zwerner, his teacher.
My heart stopped. I was freaking out, very nervous, just wondering, was that one person my son?
Zwerner spent the next days and weeks recovering in the hospital after being shot in the hand and chest.
I will tell you this, I know she is a hero.
In the aftermath, numerous leadership changes happened within the Newport News School Division, including firing Superintendent Dr. George Parker. On April 3rd, the legal team for Zwerner filed a $40 million lawsuit against several Newport News public schools officials, accusing them of, quote, recklessly disregarding the safety of everyone on school grounds for ignoring several warnings regarding the 6-year-old student.
The psychological wounds cut deeply and remain fresh.
The lawyer for Rich Neck's former principal, Brianna Foster Newton, released a public response suggesting she may file a countersuit. That brings us to April 10th. A Newport News grand jury has charged the 6-year-old's mother, Deja Taylor, with felony child neglect and a misdemeanor count of recklessly leaving a firearm that endangers a child. Police said Taylor legally purchased the gun, and her attorney, James Ellenson, has said the gun was secured on a top shelf in her closet and had a trigger lock. Commonwealth's attorney Howard Gwynn wrote the facts of the case support these charges, and the investigation will continue until they determine whether or not anyone else involved will face charges.
How did he get in the kids' book stack?
Gwynn also announced he has filed a petition in Newport News Circuit Court to create a special grand jury, which will continue in an investigation into, quote, any security issues that may have contributed to this shooting. Live in Newport News, Sarah Hammond, 13 News Now.
Thanks, Sarah. Zwerner's attorney, Diane Toscano, sent us a statement saying, quote, there were failures in accountability at multiple levels that led to Abby being shot and almost killed. Today's announcement addresses but one of those failures. We will not allow school leaders to escape accountability for their role in this tragedy.
Yes. As, was reported previously, some of the kids said that the boy, the first grader, had a gun, and the adults didn't follow through to go and see what was happening. They were worried about the little boy's right to privacy and not going in his book sack. And you and I know as first graders, we didn't have no rights to nothing. But they didn't even bring, you could just talk to a first grader, and be able to determine if something is amiss or not. At least I think I have enough mother wit to be able to question a first grader that's packing and be able to not have him in a classroom where he could act out. Although, of course, many people, the first thing you say is, how in the world did this first grader know how to get a gun, sneak it into school, aim it, and pull the trigger, hit the mark? A first grader, and what had him so upset, so angry? What in the world is going on? I know, as I go here and about, I hear people talking about it. And some say, well, my goodness, he must have had um, a deep seated anger, and that somehow people in the household had something to do with it because this was his first day without supervision. Apparently, they had been saying that an adult had to accompany this child to school. And so the first day that they didn't accompany him, he brought a gun and shot somebody. That's a lot. Um, so I want to hear what you think about this matter. And of course, the first person in the situation to be charged is the mother. Um, and her attorney is contending that the gun was safely put away with a lock. Well, how a 6-year-old outsmarted you to get a gun off the top shelf, uh, go through all of your safety precautions, get in some mode of transportation, and get your gun all the way to his class, and was able to shoot somebody. That's a lot. That's a lot from a 6-year-old at an elementary school. Uh, so the district attorney is saying that, he's uh, and not considering charging the child at this point. Because let's be honest, there are very, very, if any, juvenile facilities for somebody that young. What you gonna do with them? You're listening to Let's Talk. I'm your host, Stephanie Anthony, and that's the question at hand. Please chime in on the chat. You can voice your opinion, and we'll holler back. You be blessed.